The ring was beautiful, a stunning emerald, cut diamond set in platinum, clearly expensive, the kind of ring that would make any woman say yes without hesitation. There was just one problem, it wasn't mine. I'm sorry, but there's been a mistake, I told the jeweler, trying to hand back the velvet box. This isn't my engagement ring, the jeweler, an older man with kind eyes, looked confused. Miss Chen, this is the ring registered under your name? Your fiancé ordered it 6 months ago, paid in full, asked us to resize it for your specific finger. That's impossible. I'm not engaged, I don't even have a boyfriend. I pushed the box back across the counter. There must be some mix-up with the names. I'm Sophie Chen, Chen, maybe you're looking for a different Sophie Chen, Sophie Mary Chen. Birthday March 15, 1995. Address 447 West 23rd Street, apartment 3B. He read from his computer screen. Ring size 6. Preference for vintage settings and colored stones over traditional diamonds, but client insisted on this particular stone for sentimental reasons. My stomach dropped. Those were my details. Exact details. Including preferences I'd mentioned casually to my best friend Emma months ago when we'd been window shopping and discussing hypothetical engagement rings. Who ordered this? I demanded, my voice sharper than intended. I need to know who's pretending to be my fiancé. I'm afraid I can't disclose client information. Someone is using my personal information without my consent. That's identity theft. Either you tell me who ordered this ring, or I'm calling the police. The jeweler hesitated, clearly weighing confidentiality against potential legal issues. Perhaps you should speak with the client directly. He's actually here now, in our private viewing room. He's here now. It came to finalize some details before pickup. If you'd like, I can. Yes. I'd like to meet this fiancé of mine immediately. The jeweler led me through the showroom toward a private room in the back. Through the partially open door, I could hear a man speaking on the phone in what sounded like Italian. His voice was deep, authoritative, the kind of voice that expected to be obeyed. The jeweler knocked softly. Mr. Moretti, there's been a situation. The young lady is here. A pause. Then, send her in. I stepped into the room and froze. The man sitting in the leather chair was probably in his mid-30s, impeccably dressed in a dark suit that screamed money and power. He had sharp Italian features, dark hair swept back, and eyes that assessed me with an intensity that made me want to step back. Everything about him, from his expensive watch to his confident posture, radiated danger wrapped in sophistication. Miss Chen, he said, standing. His accent was slight but noticeable. I've been looking forward to meeting you. Who the hell are you, and why did you order an engagement ring in my name? Direct. I appreciate that. He gestured to a chair across from him. Please, sit. We have things to discuss. I'm not sitting anywhere until you explain why you know my personal information and why you're pretending to be my fiancé. I'm not pretending to be anything. I am Dante Moretti, and that ring, he nodded toward the box the jeweler still held, is insurance. Insurance for what? For your safety, your cooperation, your continued survival. His dark eyes held mine. You've been investigating my organization for the past 4 months, Miss Chen. Did you think I wouldn't notice? The room tilted slightly. My investigation. My secret investigation as a financial crimes analyst for the FBI. The case I'd been building against what we suspected was a money laundering operation running through luxury businesses in Manhattan. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't insult my intelligence. You've been tracking shell companies, following money trails, building a case. You're quite good at it, actually. Took my people 3 months to identify you. He moved closer, and I forced myself not to retreat. The question isn't whether you've been investigating me. It's what I do about it now that I know. If you know I work for the FBI, then you know threatening a federal agent is a serious crime. Who said anything about threats? He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. I'm offering you a business arrangement. You stop your investigation. In return, I ensure your safety and the safety of everyone you care about. Your mother in Queens. Your younger brother at Columbia. Your best friend Emma who works at that gallery in Chelsea. My blood ran cold. He'd researched everyone I loved, had them identified, tracked, vulnerable. That's called blackmail. Also a serious crime. Call it what you want. The reality is simple, you can't prove anything against me. Your case is circumstantial at best, but if you persist, if you convince your superiors to move forward with charges, well, I'd have to protect my interests, and that protection might extend to removing threats. You're threatening to kill a federal agent. I'm explaining the consequences of actions. He picked up the ring box from where the jeweler had set it down, but I'm also offering an alternative. You accept this ring, you become my fiancé, publicly, convincingly. You use your position at the FBI to feed me information about investigations into my operations. In return, everyone you love stays safe, you stay safe, and eventually, when circumstances allow, we can quietly end our engagement, and you can return to your normal life. You're insane if you think I'd agree to that. I think you're practical enough to recognize when you're outmatched. He opened the ring box, the diamond catching the light. You have 48 hours to decide. Accept the ring and my terms, or I'll assume you've chosen to continue your investigation. And I'll respond accordingly. I could have you arrested right now. Attempted bribery of a federal officer, threats against. With what evidence? Your word against mine. This is a jewelry store. We're discussing engagement rings. You can claim I threatened you, but I'll deny everything. My lawyers are better than your entire department combined. He set the ring box on the table between us. 48 hours, Miss Chen. Think carefully about your choice. He walked past me toward the door, then paused. And Sophie, don't do anything rash like running to your superiors. I have people inside the FBI. I'll know before your supervisor finishes reading your report, and knowing without having plausible deniability. That makes everyone you love significantly more vulnerable. Then he was gone, leaving me standing in a private jewelry viewing room with a 50,000 engagement ring, and a choice that wasn't really a choice at all. I spent the next hour in a coffee shop, hands shaking around my cup, trying to process what had just happened. Dante Moretti. I knew the name from my investigation. Suspected organized crime connections, money laundering through luxury goods, ties to several unsolved crimes. But we had nothing solid, nothing that would stand up in court. And now he'd turned the tables completely. Knew who I was, where I lived, who I loved. Had researched my preferences well enough to order a custom engagement ring. Was offering me a deal that was really a threat wrapped in expensive jewelry. I pulled out my phone to call my supervisor, then hesitated. What if Dante was right? What if he did have people inside the bureau? Reporting this could trigger exactly the response he'd warned about. Protection of his interests through elimination of threats. But I couldn't just accept his terms. Couldn't become complicit in the crimes I'd spent months investigating. Couldn't betray everything I believed in because some mob boss knew how to find my home address. Could I? My phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, Sophie Chen. A woman's voice, professional but warm. This is Detective Maria Santos, NYPD. I need to speak with you about Dante Moretti. Can we meet? Hope surged through me. Yes, absolutely. When and where? There's a diner on 8th Avenue, Pete's. Can you be there in 30 minutes? I'll be there. Pete's Diner was the kind of place that had been serving coffee and pie to New Yorkers for 50 years, and would probably be there for 50 more. I found Detective Santos in a back booth, a woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. Miss Chen. Thanks for meeting me. She didn't offer to shake hands. I'm gonna be direct. We've been investigating Dante Moretti for 3 years. Organized crime, money laundering, suspected involvement in several murders. We know the FBI has a case building too, and we know Moretti just approached you at a jewelry store. How do you know that? We've been watching him. Saw you go in, saw the interaction through the window. Couldn't hear what was said, but your body language suggested it wasn't a pleasant conversation. She pushed a folder across the table. This is everything we have on Moretti. It's not enough for charges. He's too smart, too careful. But it's enough to show you what you're dealing with. I opened the folder. Photos of Dante with various men, all of them looking like the kind of people you crossed the street to avoid. Financial records showing suspicious transactions. Reports of witnesses who disappeared before they could testify. A pattern of violence carefully insulated from the man at the top. He wants me to be his fake fiancé, feed him information from the FBI in exchange for not hurting my family. We suspected he might try something like that. He's been researching you for months. We watched him send people to follow your mother, your brother, your friends. Building leverage. Detective Santos leaned forward. Sophie, I'm going to offer you something unusual. Work with us. Accept Moretti's offer. Become his fiancé. Feed him information we control, nothing that compromises real investigations. Use your position close to him to gather evidence we can actually use. You want me to be an undercover informant dating a mob boss. I want to give you a way to protect your family while still doing the right thing. If you refuse Moretti, he'll follow through on his threats. If you accept but don't work with us, you become complicit in his crimes. But if you accept and help us, you give us the inside access we need to finally bring him down. That's incredibly dangerous. If he finds out, he'll kill you. Yes, she didn't sugarcoat it. But Sophie, you're in danger either way now. At least this way you have some protection, some purpose, and a chance to actually stop him instead of just becoming another victim or another corrupt agent on his payroll. I thought about the ring sitting in my apartment. About Dante's dark eyes assessing me like a problem to solve. About my mother and brother and Emma, all of them vulnerable because I'd been good at my job. What would this actually involve? You'd accept his ring, become his public fiancé, attend events with him, be seen together, play the role convincingly. In private you'd report to me. Tell me about his business, his associates, any crimes you witness or hear about. We'd use that information to build a case so solid he can't buy or threaten his way out of it. How long would this last? As long as it takes to build the case. Could be months, could be years. She met my eyes. I won't lie to you. This is asking a lot. It's dangerous, complicated, and there's no guarantee of success. But it's the best option you have right now. I looked at the folder again. At photos of Dante looking cold, calculating, dangerous. At evidence of crimes that destroyed lives. At a man who thought he could own me with threats and expensive jewelry. Okay, I heard myself say. I'll do it. I'll be his fake fiancé and your informant. But I need protection for my family. Real protection, not just promises. Don't. We'll have plainclothes officers watching your mother's house, your brother's dorm, your friend's apartment. Discreet but present. She pulled out her phone. I need you to call Moretti. Accept his offer. Then we'll prep you for what comes next. I dialed the number he'd left with the jeweler. He answered on the second ring. Miss Chen, I wasn't expecting to hear from you for another 47 hours. I've made my decision. I'll accept your ring. I'll be your fiancé. I'll cooperate with your terms. I kept my voice steady. But I want to meet tomorrow. Discuss boundaries and expectations. If I'm doing this, we're doing it properly, smart girl. Tomorrow noon at my office. I'll send a car for you, he paused. And Sophie? You're making the right choice. For everyone involved. After I hung up, Detective Santos nodded approval. Good, natural, convincing. Now comes the hard part. Actually playing the role well enough that Moretti believes you've accepted your situation. That you're cooperative out of fear, not strategy. I basically have accepted the situation. I am afraid. That part won't be hard to fake. The trick is being afraid enough that he believes you, but brave enough to actually gather useful information. She stood. Go home. Get some sleep. Tomorrow your new life as a mob boss's fake fiancé begins. And Sophie, don't underestimate him. Moretti is smart, observant, and extremely dangerous. If he suspects for even a moment that you're working against him, he'll kill me. I understand. Make sure you do. Because I need you alive to testify when we finally bring him down. The car that picked me up the next morning was exactly what I expected. Black, expensive, tinted windows. The driver was silent, professional. The kind of employee who'd been trained not to see or hear anything inconvenient. Dante's office was in a luxury building in Midtown. The kind of place where legitimate businesses operated alongside ones that were decidedly less legal. The elevator required a key card to access the penthouse floor. Another layer of security and exclusivity. He was waiting when the elevator doors opened, standing in front of floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked Manhattan. The view was spectacular, the kind of power statement that money could buy. Sophie, punctual, I appreciate that. He turned and I got my first good look at him in natural daylight. He was younger than I'd initially thought, maybe 34, 35, but carried himself with the authority of someone much older. Coffee. Tea. Neither. Let's just get to business. Still so direct. He smiled slightly. Very well. Business, you've agreed to my terms: public engagement, information sharing, cooperation. What are your concerns? Everything about this situation concerns me. But specifically, I need to know what public engagement actually means. Am I expected to live with you? Attend family dinners? What's the scope of this arrangement? We'll need to be seen together regularly. Dinners, events, occasional appearances at family gatherings. You won't live with me. That would be too intrusive for both of us. But you'll wear the ring, answer questions appropriately, and convince anyone watching that we're a genuine couple. For how long? Until circumstances change. Until my business interests no longer require this particular insurance policy. He moved to his desk, pulling out a folder. These are the terms in writing. Your obligations, my guarantees. Protection for your family, regular payment for your cooperation. An eventual termination of the arrangement once I'm satisfied the threat has passed. You're paying me to pretend to be your fiancé? I'm compensating you for your time and cooperation. Think of it as a contract position. He slid the folder across. $20,000 a month deposited into an account I'll set up. No connection to you personally, no tax implications. Just compensation for services rendered. $20,000 a month. Nearly $250,000 a year. For playing dress up with a mob boss and betraying my oath as a federal agent. The money was obscene and insulting in equal measure. What about the information sharing? What exactly do you expect me to tell you? Anything related to investigations into my operations or those of my associates? Upcoming raids, surveillance activities, informants. The kinds of things that help me stay several steps ahead of law enforcement. His dark eyes were calculating. You're ideally positioned to provide early warning when the FBI starts moving on cases related to my interests. So you want me to be a mole? Help you evade justice while people you've hurt wait for accountability. I want you to be pragmatic. Justice is subjective. Law enforcement is flawed. I provide services that people want, that the system can't or won't provide. You can see that as crime or as capitalism. Either way, your moral judgments don't change our arrangement. I wanted to argue, to tell him he was delusional if he thought luxury money laundering was equivalent to legitimate business. But I was playing a role now, scared agent who'd accepted defeat, not crusader for justice. Fine. When do we start this charade? Tonight, there's a charity gala. Manhattan elite, politicians, business people. We'll make our first public appearance as a couple. I've already had appropriate attire sent to your apartment. He picked up the ring box from his desk, the same one from the jewelry store. First, you wear this. The ring was even more beautiful in the morning light. Emerald cut diamond, at least 3 carats, flawless. The kind of ring that would make people stop and stare. The kind that screamed money and commitment. I'm supposed to just put this on. No romantic proposal, no pretense of affection. This isn't a romance, Sophie. It's a business arrangement. But if you prefer, I can get down on one knee and recite poetry. His tone was mocking. Would that make you feel better about betraying everything you claim to stand for? No. Just give me the damn ring. He crossed to me, taking my left hand. His touch was warm, surprisingly gentle for someone so dangerous. He slid the ring onto my finger. Perfect fit, exactly as he'd ordered, and held my hand for a moment longer than necessary. There. Now you're mine. At least as far as the world is concerned. He released my hand but stayed close, invading my personal space deliberately. Get used to this proximity, Sophie. We'll need to be convincing in public. That means touching, standing close, looking at each other like we're in love rather than locked in mutual manipulation. I can pretend to be in love. It's called acting. Can you? Because right now you look like you want to punch me. His smile was genuine this time. We have work to do on your performance before tonight. The next few hours were surreal. Dante coaching me on how to act like his fiancé, drilling me on details of our fictional relationship, teaching me what responses would seem natural versus suspicious to his associates. We met 3 months ago at an art gallery. You were there for the exhibit, I was there for business. We started talking, had dinner, began dating quietly. He was sitting across from me now, watching my face for reactions. I proposed last week during a private dinner at my apartment. You said yes because you fell in love with me, not because I threatened your family. No one's going to believe I fell in love with you. Why not? I'm wealthy, cultured, reasonably attractive. Women pursue me regularly. His arrogance wasn't false modesty, just statement of fact. You're intelligent, beautiful, accomplished in your field. We make sense as a couple on paper. Except I'm an FBI agent and you're a criminal, which no one knows except us. To everyone else, you're a financial analyst and I'm a businessman. Both true, just incomplete. He stood. The car will pick you up at 7. Wear the dress I sent. Be ready to smile and look happy. And Sophie, don't disappoint me. I've invested considerable resources in this arrangement. I expect results. After I left his office, I called Detective Santos from a secure phone she'd given me. How did it go? She asked immediately. He's paying me $20,000 a month. Wants information about FBI investigations. We're going public tonight at some charity gala. I was walking through Central Park, making sure no one was following. He's smart, Maria. Really smart. And he's already established our cover story. We met at a gallery 3 months ago, been dating quietly, just got engaged. That's good. Gives you a foundation to build on. What's your read on him personally? Dangerous. Controlled. Absolutely convinced he's untouchable. I thought about how he'd slid the ring onto my finger, the casual intimacy of the gesture. He's going to expect me to play this role convincingly. That means physical proximity, public affection, selling the relationship. Can you do that? Get close to him without compromising yourself. I don't have a choice. If I refuse to be convincing, he'll know something's wrong. If he knows something's wrong, my family dies. I looked at the ring on my finger, sunlight making the diamond sparkle. I can do this. I have to. Stay smart, stay safe. And Sophie, remember that everything he tells you, everything you see, it's all evidence. Document it mentally, report it to me, let us build the case. Your job is to be his fiancé, not his friend. Don't let him manipulate you into actually caring about him. That won't be a problem. I know exactly what he is. The dress Dante had sent was stunning. Deep navy silk that hugged in all the right places, elegant without being overtly sexual. With it came shoes, jewelry, and a note. Wear these. Nothing else. D controlling even my accessories. Typical. The car arrived precisely at 7. This time Dante was in it. You look beautiful, he said as I slid into the seat beside him. Exactly as I knew you would. You've never seen me in anything except work clothes and casual wear. How could you know? I've had you researched extensively. I know your clothing sizes, your style preferences, what colors work with your complexion. He adjusted the necklace he'd sent. Sapphires that probably cost more than my annual salary. I know what you ate for breakfast this morning, what route you took to work yesterday, which books you checked out from the library last month. I know you, Sophie. Better than you might think. The invasion of privacy was stunning. That's deeply creepy. That's thorough. I don't make investments without research. You're an investment, in my security, my freedom, my continued operations. I need to know everything about you to predict your behavior, anticipate problems, ensure compliance. His hand found mine, fingers intertwining. Get used to this. In public, we're affectionate. In private, we're honest. Right now, we're in public. The gala was everything I'd expected. Manhattan's wealthy and powerful gathered to donate money and network. Politicians, business executives, people who made decisions that affected millions. And scattered among them, criminals like Dante who'd bought their way into respectability. Mr. Moretti, I heard rumors you were bringing someone special tonight. a woman in her 50s, dripping in diamonds, approached us immediately. "Mrs. Blackwell, allow me to introduce my fiancée, Sophie Chen." Dante's hand settled on my lower back, possessive and warm. "Sophie, Mrs. Blackwell is on the board of the Metropolitan Museum. Congratulations." "When did this happen?" Mrs. Blackwell was studying my ring with the eye of someone who knew diamonds. "Last week," I said, letting Dante's cover story flow naturally. "Dante surprised me with dinner at his apartment, got down on one knee with this gorgeous ring. I didn't even let him finish the question before I said yes." "How romantic! And how did you two meet?" "Art gallery in Chelsea. I was there for the exhibit, he was there for business reasons. We started talking about a particular piece and ended up having dinner that same night." I looked up at Dante, forcing warmth into my expression. I fell hard and fast. He's not what I expected, but exactly what I needed. Dante's slight smile suggested approval of my performance. "Sophie makes me want to be better than I am. She sees potential in me that I didn't know existed." The lies flowed easily, too easily. We moved through the crowd, playing the role of newly engaged couple with disturbing naturalness. Dante introduced me to his associates, men who looked dangerous despite their expensive suits, women who watched me with calculating eyes, assessing whether I was threat or asset. "You're doing well," Dante murmured during a quiet moment near the bar. "Natural, convincing. Almost like you actually enjoy this." "I'm good at my job, all aspects of it." "Are you?" His dark eyes held mine. "Because I'm starting to wonder if you're not just a good actress but actually someone who finds this world attractive. The money, the power, the excitement of operating outside normal rules. Don't project your pathology onto me. I'm here under duress, remember? You threatened my family. I offered you a choice. You made the rational decision. There's no shame in that." His hand cupped my face, thumb brushing my cheek. Tender gesture that looked affectionate but felt like claiming. "But I see something in you, Sophie. Curiosity. Interest. You hate what I do but you're fascinated by how I do it. That's dangerous. For both of us." Before I could respond, a man approached, older, distinguished, with cold eyes that assessed me like prey. "Moretti, I heard you finally got yourself a woman. Didn't believe it until now. Vincent, good to see you." Dante's tone suggested it was anything but good. "Sophie, this is Vincent Castellano, old friend of the family." The name registered immediately. Castellano crime family, rivals to whatever organization Dana ran. This wasn't a friendly encounter. This was enemy territory. "Miss Chen, congratulations on your engagement." Vincent's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Tell me, does your fiancé's line of work concern you? The long hours, the dangerous associates, the federal attention." "I don't involve myself in Dante's business. I trust him to handle his professional life while I handle mine." I kept my voice steady. "We keep work and personal separate." "Smart woman. Separation is survival in our world." He looked at Dante. "I hope for her sake she stays as ignorant as she claims. Women who know too much tend to disappear in unfortunate accidents." "Is that a threat, Vincent?" Dante's voice went cold. An observation based on history. Vincent's smile was predatory. "Enjoy your engagement, Miss Chen, however long it lasts." He walked away, leaving tension crackling in the air. "What was that about?" I asked quietly. "Vincent thinks he can intimidate me by threatening you. He's wrong. But it does complicate things." Dante guided me toward the exit. "We're leaving now." Before he decides to make his threats more concrete. In the car, I finally let my fear show. He knows something. About me, about this arrangement. He was testing both of us. Vincent suspects everything and everyone. It's how he's survived this long. Dante poured whiskey from the car's bar. "But you're right. He's watching us. Which means we need to be even more convincing. More public. More committed to this fiction." "What does that mean?" "It means you're moving in with me. Tomorrow. We tell the world we can't bear to be apart. And we give Vincent and anyone else watching no reason to doubt that our engagement is anything other than genuine." "I'm not moving in with you." "You are. Because if Vincent thinks this is fake, if he suspects you're here under any kind of coercion, he'll use that against me. Use you against me. And that ends with you dead and me compromised." He drained his whiskey. "Pack your essentials tonight. My people will handle the rest tomorrow." This wasn't part of the deal. The deal changed the moment Vincent Castellano made his appearance. "Welcome to my world, Sophie. Where adaptation isn't optional, it's survival." Moving into Dante's penthouse happened with military efficiency. His people packed my apartment, transported everything I owned, and had me settled into a guest bedroom by noon the next day. All while I was at work, maintaining the appearance of normalcy. "You have your own space," Dante explained that evening, showing me around. "Bedroom, bathroom, office. You're not expected to share my bed or my private areas. This is a living arrangement for appearances, not an actual relationship." "How considerate of you to give me a bedroom in my own prison. Prison would be less comfortable and have worse food." He opened the door to my new room, easily twice the size of my entire previous apartment, with stunning views and furniture that cost more than I made in a year. "My housekeeper, Mrs. Chen, no relation, handles meals, cleaning, anything you need. Security is handled by my team." You don't leave the building without informing me. You don't meet with anyone I don't approve. Those are the rules. So I am a prisoner. Just one with nice furniture. You're protected. There's a difference? He moved closer, and I forced myself not to retreat. Vincent's appearance last night changes the threat level. He's not just suspicious, he's interested. That makes you a target. Keeping you here, keeping you close, that's how I ensure you stay alive long enough to be useful. Useful. That's what this is about. My usefulness to you. Among other things, his expression was unreadable. Get settled. Dinner is at 7. We eat together most evenings, another part of the performance. And Sophie, stop looking at me like I'm your jailer. I'm the only thing standing between you and people who'd do far worse than give you a comfortable bedroom. After he left, I immediately called Detective Santos on the secure phone. I'm in, I said quietly. Moved into his penthouse. He says it's for protection from Vincent Castellano, who apparently showed up at the gala last night making thinly veiled threats. Castellano is dangerous. If he's taken an interest in you, Moretti's right about the increased risk. Papers rustled on her end. But this is also good for us. Living with Moretti gives you access to his home, his private conversations, his associates when they visit. This could be the break we need. It also means I'm under constant surveillance. His security, his staff, all watching me. I can't report in freely. Can't investigate without being noticed. Then be careful. Document everything mentally. We'll set up secure drop locations for physical evidence if you can get access to anything concrete. But Sophie, your primary job right now is survival. Stay in character. Stay alive. Gather intelligence when you can, but don't take unnecessary risks. Easy for you to say. You're not living with a mob boss who knows my every move. No. I'm just trying to build a case strong enough to put him away for life using information from an agent who's in over her head. Her tone softened slightly. You're doing good work. Difficult work. But necessary work. Don't forget why you agreed to this. I hung up and looked around my new bedroom. Beautiful, expensive, and completely monitored, I was certain. Somewhere there were cameras, recording devices, ways for Dante to know everything I did in his home. Privacy was another casualty of this arrangement. Dinner that evening was surreal. Sitting across from Dante at an elegant table, eating food prepared by a private chef, discussing mundane topics like we were a normal couple. How was work? He asked, cutting into his steak with precision. Paperwork mostly. Nothing interesting. I couldn't tell him about my actual work, analyzing financial crimes, including his operations. Meetings, negotiations, the usual business. He sipped his wine. I have an event this weekend, gallery opening in Soho. We'll attend together. Several of my associates will be there with their wives and girlfriends. You'll need to socialize, make connections, be charming. You want me to befriend the wives of criminals. I want you to integrate into my world. These women will judge you, gossip about you, decide whether you're worthy of me or just another gold digger who won't last. His dark eyes held mine. You need their acceptance. It legitimizes us as a couple and gives you protection. Harming you would insult, not just me but these women who've brought you into their circle. So I'm supposed to make friends with mob wives. They're not all married to criminals. Some are married to legitimate businessmen who happen to associate with me. Others are in relationships with men who operate in gray areas. Very few would describe themselves as mob wives. He refilled my wine glass. But yes, befriend them. Learn from them. Become one of them, at least on the surface. What if they don't like me? They will. You're intelligent, beautiful, well-educated. You have a legitimate career. You're exactly the kind of woman they want to see me with. Someone who elevates my status rather than confirms stereotypes. A slight smile played at his lips. Besides, I've already told several of them how in love with you I am. They're predisposed to like anyone who makes me happy. You told them you love me? We barely know each other. I told them a story they wanted to hear. That I met someone who saw past my reputation, who challenges me intellectually, who makes me want to be better than I am. Whether any of that is true is irrelevant. It's the narrative we're selling. Over the following weeks, I fell into a routine. Work at the FBI during the day, where I carefully fed Dante outdated or useless information that satisfied his demands without compromising real investigations. Evenings with him, attending events, meeting his associates, playing the devoted fiancé, and late nights reporting to Detective Santos, building a case brick by brick. You're getting good at this. Dante observed one evening. We'd just returned from a dinner with 3 of his business partners and their wives. The women like you. The men respect you. You play the role flawlessly. Maybe it's not all role-playing. Maybe I'm actually adapting to this life. He studied me carefully. Are you? Because 3 weeks ago you could barely look at me without contempt. Now you take my hand naturally, laugh at my jokes, defend me to strangers. Either you're an exceptional actress or you're actually becoming comfortable in this world. Does it matter? As long as I fulfill my end of the arrangement. It matters because I need to know if you're trustworthy or just biding your time until you can betray me. He moved closer, backing me against the foyer wall. I've let you into my life, Sophie, my home, my business, my circle. That requires trust, but I'm starting to wonder if my trust is misplaced. My heart raced. Did he suspect? Had I made a mistake, left some trail? I don't know what you mean. You're too good at this. Too comfortable. Too convincing. His hand cupped my face, thumb tracing my jawline. Real fear would be obvious. Real resentment would slip through occasionally. But you're perfectly calibrated. Which makes me think you're either genuinely adapting or you're working for someone. You're paranoid. I'm careful. There's a difference. He leaned in until our faces were inches apart. If I find out you've been playing me, Sophie, your family's protection disappears. Your comfortable life disappears. Everything I've promised turns to ash. Do you understand? I understand. I'm not playing you. I'm surviving you. There's a difference. Eyes there. His lips were nearly touching mine now. Because from where I'm standing, survival and seduction are starting to look remarkably similar. He kissed me then, sudden, intense, claiming. For a moment I froze, torn between pushing him away and maintaining my cover. Then training kicked in. I kissed him back, let him believe I wanted this, let him think his suspicions were unfounded paranoia rather than accurate assessment. When he pulled back, his expression was unreadable. Interesting? What? You kissed me like you meant it. Like you wanted it. Either you're the best actress I've ever met, or something's changing between us. He stepped away, leaving me breathless and confused. Get some sleep, Sophie. Tomorrow we meet with Vincent Castellano to negotiate territory agreements. You'll need to be sharp. I'm coming to a mob negotiation. You're my fiancé. Where I go, you go. And Vincent requested your presence specifically. Wants to get to know the woman who supposedly captured my heart. His smile was cold. Which means he's testing us again. So tomorrow, you're not just playing devoted fiancé. You're playing the role of your life. One mistake, one moment of hesitation, and Vincent will know this is all theater. The meeting with Vincent Castellano took place in a private room at an expensive restaurant, neutral territory where both sides brought minimal security. I sat beside Dante, acutely aware of Vincent's calculating gaze studying every interaction between us. Miss Chen, lovely to see you again, Vincent said as we settled in. I've been curious about you since the gala. The woman who finally tamed Dante Moretti. That's quite an accomplishment. I didn't tame him, I just loved him. The lie came easily now, after weeks of practice. Though he makes it easy. He's not the person people think he is. Really, and who do people think he is? Dangerous, cold, focused only on business and power. I let my hand find Dante's under the table. They don't see the man who remembers how I take my coffee. Who reads poetry when he thinks no one's watching. Who wants to be better than his reputation suggests. Poetry? Moretti? Vincent laughed. Now I know she's lying. Dante doesn't have a romantic bone in his body. Then you don't know him as well as you think. I met Vincent's eyes directly. People are more than their worst actions. Dante's done things I don't approve of, made choices I question, but he's also capable of kindness, gentleness, love. I've seen it. I've experienced it. That's who I fell in love with. Not the reputation, but the man underneath. Vincent studied me for a long moment. You're either completely deluded or genuinely in love. I haven't decided which. Does it matter? Either way, I'm not going anywhere. Dante's stuck with me. I smiled, letting warmth show through, for better or worse. Probably worse, given his line of work. But I made my choice. I'm standing by it. Lowell, that's dangerous in our world. Vincent turned to Dante. If she's as devoted as she appears, she's a liability. Enemies will use her against you. Have you considered that? Every day. Which is why she's protected as carefully as I am. Dante's hand tightened on mine. Anyone who touches Sophie answers to me personally. That message has been sent to everyone who needs to hear it. Including me. Vincent's tone was light, but his eyes were cold. Especially you. Since you're the one who keeps making veiled threats about unfortunate accidents. The tension in the room spiked. I felt Dante's hand move to his side, where he kept a gun, I'd learned over the past weeks. Vincent's security shifted position slightly. This could escalate from negotiation to violence in seconds. Gentlemen, I said calmly, perhaps we could focus on the territory agreements you're supposed to be discussing. I came here for a nice dinner, not a testosterone competition. Both men blinked, then Vincent laughed, genuine amusement this time. She's got spirit, I like that. Fine, Moretti, let's discuss business. But I'm keeping an eye on your fiancée. She's more interesting than most women in our world. The rest of the meeting proceeded without incident. Territories divided, payments agreed upon, peace maintained through careful negotiation. But I felt Vincent's eyes on me throughout, assessing, calculating, trying to determine if I was genuine or performance. As we left, Vincent called out, Miss Chen. A word. Dante tensed, but I squeezed his hand. It's fine. I'll just be a moment. I walked back to where Vincent stood, aware of Dante watching closely. You love him, Vincent said quietly. I can see it. Whether you admit it to yourself or not, you've fallen for him. That's dangerous, Miss Chen. Men like Moretti don't love back. They possess, they control, but they don't love. You'll end up hurt or dead. Probably both. Why are you telling me this? Because I've seen too many good women destroyed by men in our world. You seem smarter than most. Don't waste that intelligence on false hope. He handed me a business card. If you ever need help, real help, not the protection Moretti offers, call me. I'll get you out safely. I took the card, knowing Dante was watching. Thank you. But I don't need rescuing. I know exactly what I'm doing, do you? Because from where I stand, you look like someone falling in love with her captor. That's not knowledge. That's Stockholm Syndrome. In the car afterward, Dante was silent, brooding. Finally, what did Vincent say to you? That I'm going to get hurt. That you don't know how to love, only possess. That I should run while I still can. I looked out the window at Manhattan passing by. Standard villain concerned about the innocent caught in the crossfire. And you said, that I know exactly what I'm doing. That I don't need rescuing. I turned to face him. Was I wrong? Am I just deluding myself into thinking I have any control in this situation? You have as much control as I allow you to have. Which is considerable, actually. More than you might think. He was quiet for a moment. Vincent's not wrong, though. I don't love easily. Don't trust easily. My world doesn't leave room for genuine emotion. Just transactions, obligations, strategic alliances. So what am I? A transaction? You started as insurance. Protection against federal prosecution. His dark eyes found mine. I don't know what you are now. Except that Vincent was right about one thing. You're more interesting than most women in my world. Dangerous in ways I didn't anticipate. Dangerous how? Because you make me want things I can't have. Can't afford. Like normal relationships built on honesty instead of manipulation. Like genuine connection instead of strategic alliance. He looked away. Forget it. I'm tired. Tomorrow we're having dinner with my mother. She wants to meet the woman I'm supposedly marrying. You have a mother. Everyone has a mother, Sophie. Mine just happens to be exceptionally good at guilt and judgment. A slight smile. You'll love her. Or she'll terrify you. Possibly both. Dante's mother, Isabella Moretti, was exactly what I expected. Elegant, sharp-eyed, with the kind of presence that commanded attention without demanding it. She appraised me over dinner like a jeweler assessing a stone's worth. So you're the one who's stolen my son's heart, she said in English with a slight Italian accent. I didn't believe him when he said he was engaged. Dante doesn't do relationships. He does arrangements. Mother, Dante warned. Oh please, I raised you. I know exactly what you are. She turned to me. Which makes me wonder what you are, Miss Chen. FBI agent supposedly in love with a man you've been investigating. That's either true love or excellent cover. My blood went cold, she knew. About the FBI, about the investigation, about everything. I don't know what you mean. Don't insult my intelligence. I know my son's business. I know the federal agents assigned to his cases. Your name is on reports I've seen. She sipped her wine calmly. So either you're legitimately in love and terrible at your job, or you're working with someone. NYPD, probably. Detective Santos has been sniffing around Dante for years. Dante had gone very still beside me. You knew. This entire time. Of course I knew. You think I haven't been watching your operation, protecting you from your own blind spots. Isabella's gaze moved between us. The question is why you haven't figured it out yet, Dante. Are you that compromised by her, or is this some elaborate game I don't understand? It's not a game, I said quietly. And I'm not working with anyone. I fell in love with him despite knowing what he is. That's the truth. Is it? Because I see the way you look at him when you think he's not watching. Fear, fascination, genuine affection. All tangled together. That's not simple love. That's Stockholm Syndrome masquerading as romance. She set down her wine glass. My son threatened your family, didn't he? Gave you an ultimatum. Cooperate or they suffer. Mother, that's enough. No, Dante, it's not enough. Because either this girl is playing you masterfully, or you're both playing each other while pretending not to notice. She stood. I'm going to make this simple. Sophie, I'm giving you an out. Walk away. I'll ensure your family's protection. You go back to your life, forget you ever met my son, and we all move forward. Dante keeps his freedom, you keep your integrity, and nobody has to die. Why would you do that? I asked. Offer me protection. Help me escape. Because I'm tired of watching my son destroy himself trying to be what his father was. Maybe losing you. Losing someone he actually cares about instead of just controls. Will wake him up to the fact that this life has costs he's not willing to pay. She looked at Dante with something like pity. You love her. Actually love her. I can see it. Which means you need to let her go before this arrangement becomes something that destroys you both. The silence that followed was deafening. Dante stared at his mother like she'd revealed a truth he'd been hiding from himself. I sat frozen, processing the impossible, that his mother was offering me exactly what I'd wanted from the beginning. Freedom. I'm not leaving, I heard myself say. Whatever this is between us, whatever started it, I'm not walking away. Even knowing he'll never truly trust you. Even knowing every day you stay is a betrayal of everything you believe in. Isabella's eyes were kind but unflinching. Sophie, I've lived in this world for 40 years. I know what it costs. You're too good for these costs. Maybe. But I'm not leaving him. I looked at Dante, saw emotions warring across his face. Whatever happens, whatever this becomes, I'm staying. Isabella studied us both for a long moment. Then she sighed. Bodiots. Dant, falling in love with a federal agent investigating you. Sophie, falling in love with your captor. This is going to end badly for everyone. Are you going to tell anyone? Dana asked quietly. About Sophie's FBI connection. Who would I tell? Vincent? Your associates. Announcing that your fiancé is a federal agent would paint a target on her back and force you to kill her to protect yourself. I'm not that cruel. She gathered her purse. But I am going to insist on one thing: honesty. Between the two of you. Stop pretending this is purely strategic. Stop lying about your feelings. Either make this real or end it before someone gets hurt beyond repair. After she left, Donnie poured himself a whiskey with shaking hands. My mother just offered to help my fake fiancé escape from me. That's a new low. She loves you. She's trying to protect you. By helping you betray me. He drained the glass. Do you understand what she just did? She gave you ammunition. Confirmed you're investigating me. Confirmed I know about it. Essentially proved coercion. That's everything you'd need to bring charges against me. I'm not bringing charges. I told you I'm staying. Why? He turned on me, eyes blazing. Why stay? You have an out. My own mother is offering protection. You could go back to your life, your career, your integrity. Why the hell would you stay with a man who threatened your family? Because she's right. I have fallen in love with you. The admission came out quieter than I intended. I don't know when it happened. Maybe when you started memorizing how I take my coffee. Maybe when you defended me to Vincent. Maybe it's been happening slowly this whole time and I was too busy pretending to notice. I moved closer. I know you're a criminal. I know you've done terrible things. I know this is probably Stockholm Syndrome or some other psychological manipulation. But Dante, I'm in love with you, and I can't just walk away from that. You're an FBI agent who's supposed to be gathering evidence against me. I'm a woman who fell in love despite every reason not to. Those two things can both be true. He kissed me then, desperate, searching, like he was trying to find truth in the connection between us. And I kissed him back, letting go of pretense, letting go of performance, just being honest for the first time since this arrangement began. This is insane, he murmured against my lips. Completely insane. I'm in love with a federal agent. You're in love with a mob boss. We're both betraying everything we're supposed to be. So what do we do? I don't know, but we can't keep lying to each other. My mother's right about that. He pulled back, studying my face. Are you working with NYPD, with Detective Santos? The moment of truth. I could lie, maintain my cover, keep gathering evidence. Or I could be honest, trust this feeling between us, see if love could survive brutal honesty. Yes, I've been reporting to her. Everything you tell me, everywhere we go, everyone we meet. I've been documenting it all, building a case. I watched his expression close off, but I haven't given her anything substantial. Nothing that would actually incriminate you. Because somewhere along the way, I stopped wanting to see you in prison and started wanting to just be with you. You've been playing both sides. I've been surviving, and falling in love, and trying to figure out how to reconcile those two things. I met his eyes. I'm done, Dante. Done with Detective Santos, done with the investigation, done with pretending. If you want me to stay, I stay as your actual fiancé. Not your informant, not your insurance policy. Just me choosing you, despite everything, and your career, your oath as a federal agent. I'll resign, find another job, another purpose. I can't keep lying to you and lying to them and lying to myself about what I want. My voice shook slightly. What I want is you, honest, real, without the games and manipulation. Can we have that, or is this world too dark for genuine love? He was quiet for a long time, wrestling with the same questions. Finally, I don't know if I know how to love honestly. My entire life has been about strategy, control, manipulation. Genuine emotion is a vulnerability I can't afford. Try, for me. For us. I took his hand. We're already in this impossible situation. Let's at least make it real. If I make this real, if I actually commit to you, I can't protect you the way I have been. You become my actual weakness instead of just strategic asset. My enemies will know. Vincent will know. They'll use you against me. Then we'll be careful. We'll be smart. But Dante, I'd rather risk danger with you than stay safe without you. He pulled me close, burying his face in my hair. You're gonna get me killed. Or arrested. Probably both. Maybe. Or maybe we figure out how to survive this together. Over the following weeks, something shifted between us. We stopped performing for each other and started actually being together. I resigned from the FBI, setting personal reasons, burning bridges carefully. I cut contact with Detective Santos, ignoring her increasingly urgent calls. I chose Dante over duty, over career, over everything I'd thought defined me. You're happy, Dante observed one morning. We were having breakfast together, a routine that had become comfortable rather than strategic. Actually happy. Not performing happiness. I am, surprisingly, disturbingly. I sipped my coffee. I'm in love with a criminal. I've betrayed my oath as a federal agent, and I'm living a life I never imagined. But yes, I'm happy. Me too. Which is terrifying. I don't know how to protect you if I actually love you. Strategy works. Love makes you stupid. Then we'll be stupid together. But of course, nothing stays simple in Dante's world. 2 months into our genuine relationship, Vincent Castellano made his move. He'd been watching, waiting, looking for weakness. And he found it in me. The kidnapping happened on a Tuesday. I was leaving a bookstore, one of the few places Dante let me go alone, since I'd insisted on some independence. 2 men, professional and efficient, grabbed me off the street and had me in a van before I could scream. When I woke up, I was in a warehouse tied to a chair. Vincent Castellano sat across from me, looking almost apologetic. Miss Chen, I'm sorry about the dramatics, but I needed to talk to you privately, and Moretti's security makes that impossible. He's gonna kill you for this. You know that, right? Probably. But first, I'm gonna tell you some things you deserve to know. About Dante, about his business, about who he really is. Vincent lit a cigarette. You think you know him. You think you've seen his darkness and accepted it. But you haven't seen the worst of it. Whatever you're about to tell me, I don't care. He killed his wife, his first wife, before you. She found out too much about his operations, threatened to go to the police. He had her car run off a bridge, made it look like an accident. Vincent watched my reaction carefully. That's who you've fallen in love with. A man who murdered his own wife to protect his business. The words hit like physical blows. Wife murder. Protection of business over love. You're lying, am I? Ask him. Ask Dante about Valentina. About why she died 6 months before he was supposed to marry her. About whether love means anything when it conflicts with survival. Vincent stood. I'm letting you go, Miss Chen. Dante's people are already tracking you. They'll find you in about 10 minutes. I just needed you to know the truth before you commit yourself completely to a man who's already killed one woman he supposedly loved. True to his word, Vincent's men left me unharmed. Dante's security found me 15 minutes later, brought me home to where Dante was losing his mind with worry and rage. Did they hurt you? I'll kill them all. I'll burn Vincent's entire operation. Tell me about Valentina, I interrupted. Tell me about your wife. He froze. Who told you about Valentina, Vincent? During my kidnapping that lasted just long enough for him to share some interesting history. I pulled away from Dante's embrace. Your wife. The one who died. The one you allegedly had killed. Tell me it's not true. It's not. It's complicated. He ran his hands through his hair. Valentina was my fiancée, not my wife. And yes, she died. Car accident. But I didn't kill her, Sophie. I swear I didn't. But you could have saved her and chose not to. That's what Vincent implied. That she became a liability and you let her die. She was going to testify against me. Against my entire organization. Yes, I could have stopped her accident. I knew about the threat to her car. But Sophie, she'd already betrayed everything. Was working with the FBI to destroy my family's legacy. I didn't kill her. I just didn't save her. The distinction felt meaningless. So when I become inconvenient, when I know too much, when I'm more liability than asset, you'll just let me die too? No, you're different? Am I? Or am I just the next Valentina? Except this time you're calling it love instead of strategy. I backed toward the door. I need time. To think. To figure out if I can live with loving a man who let his fiancée die to protect his business. Sophie, please? I'm not leaving. Not yet. But I need space. Just give me space. I spent the next 3 days in my room, wrestling with impossible questions. Could you love someone capable of letting another woman die? Could you build a life with someone whose survival instinct trumped all other emotions? Could you trust that you were different, special, worth saving when the last woman in this position hadn't been? On the 4th day, Dante knocked on my door. Can we talk? Actually talk, not through doors. I let him in. He looked exhausted, aged by stress and fear. I need you to understand something, he said quietly. Valentina wasn't you. She betrayed me consciously, deliberately, worked with the FBI to destroy everything my family built. When I learned about the threat to her car, I had a choice. Save the woman trying to destroy me, or let the consequences of her betrayal play out. I chose survival, and if I betray you, if I become a threat, you already did betray me. You worked with Detective Santos. You fed information to build a case against me, and I didn't let you die. I fell in love with you instead. His eyes held mine. You're different, Sophie. Not because you're more loyal or less dangerous. Because you're honest about your conflicts. You chose me despite your duty. Valentina chose duty despite her promises to me. That difference matters. But can I trust that? Can I trust that I'll always be worth saving? I can't promise you'll always be safe. My world doesn't allow those promises. But I can promise that I will always choose you over my business, over my survival, over everything else. He moved closer. You changed me. Made me realize that some things are worth more than power or freedom. You're worth more. And I'll prove it every day for the rest of our lives if you'll let me. I chose to stay. Not because I forgave everything, but because I understood that love in Dante's world came with impossible choices. Valentina had chosen betrayal. I was choosing him. That had to mean something. I need you to promise me something, I said that night. No more secrets. No more strategic omissions. If we're doing this for real, I need complete honesty. Agreed. But that goes both ways. No more working with police, no more hidden agendas. You're either with me completely or not at all. I'm with you. Completely. Stupidly. Against every instinct that says this is insane. I took his hand. But Downty, if you ever have to choose between me and your survival, I want you to choose me. Not because I'm strategic. Because I'm yours. I will. I promise you, Sophie. I will. 6 months later, we made it official. A real wedding. Not just the performance we'd been maintaining. Small ceremony, only people who mattered. Downty's mother cried. My own mother attended, still not entirely understanding what her daughter had gotten into but accepting it with maternal grace. You're sure about this? She asked in Mandarin before the ceremony, thinking Dante couldn't understand. He's dangerous. This life is dangerous. I'm sure, Mom. I love him. That's enough. Love isn't always enough, Sophie. Sometimes love is just the beginning of heartbreak. She wasn't wrong. Over the next 2 years, I learned exactly what it meant to be married to a mob boss. The constant security. The careful social navigation. The nights Dante came home with blood on his clothes and darkness in his eyes, unable to tell me details but needing comfort anyway. I did something terrible today, he said one night, collapsing onto our bed still fully dressed. Something that will haunt me. But it was necessary. For the business, for our safety. I keep telling myself that makes it okay. Does it make it okay? No. But it makes it survivable. He pulled me close. You're what makes it survivable. Coming home to you being reminded that I'm more than just violence and strategy. You're my conscience, Sophie. My humanity. That's a lot of pressure to put on one person. I know. I'm sorry, but it's true. Without you, I'd be exactly what everyone thinks I am. A monster without redemption. You make me want to be better. And are you? Better. I'm trying. Doesn't that count for something? I wanted to say yes, that trying was enough. But some nights I lay awake wondering if love could really redeem someone, or if I was just enabling darkness by loving it. The breaking point came 2 years into our marriage. Vincent Castellano, who'd been watching and waiting, finally made his major move. He brought federal charges against Dante, money laundering, racketeering, conspiracy, and his star witness, Detective Maria Santos, who'd been building her case all along, apparently without needing my cooperation. They have enough. Dante's lawyer explained in our living room. Phone records, financial documents, testimony from 3 of your former associates who took deals. They're going to trial. And Sophie? He looked at me with pity. They're going to call you to testify too. As a former federal agent who lived with him, they'll ask what you know. My stomach dropped. I can claim spousal privilege. They'll ask about things before you were married. About your initial arrangement, about your investigation. They'll ask if he threatened you, coerced you, used you. The lawyer set down his briefcase. And Sophie, if you lie under oath to protect him, you'll go to prison too. If you tell the truth, he goes to prison. Either way, this marriage survives only if you're willing to commit perjury. After the lawyer left, Dante poured us both whiskey. You should tell the truth. When they call you to testify, tell them everything. The threats, the coercion, the arrangement. I won't ask you to perjure yourself for me. If I tell the truth, you go to prison for 20 years minimum, yes, but you stay free. You get your life back. He drank deeply. Sophie, I knew this would come eventually. I've been living on borrowed time since I started this business. At least I got these years with you. That's more than I deserved. I'm not letting you go to prison. You don't have a choice. Unless you commit a felony to protect me. And I won't let you do that. He cupped my face. I love you enough to let you walk away. To let you tell the truth. To lose you if that's what survival requires. But I don't love you enough to let you take the fall for everything. That's the problem. I pulled away, pacing. There has to be another option. Some way out that doesn't end with one of us in prison. If there is, my very expensive lawyer hasn't found it. Over the next few weeks, I wrestled with impossible choices. Testify truthfully and lose Dante. Commit perjury and risk prison myself. Or find some third option that nobody had considered. The third option came from an unexpected source. Isabella Moretti. You need to make a deal, she told me over coffee. With the prosecutors. Offer them something bigger than Dante. Something that makes his testimony unnecessary. Like what? I don't have anything. You have Vincent Castellano. Think about it, Sophie. Vincent brought these charges. He's been orchestrating this entire prosecution. But he's not clean. He's done worse than Dante ever has. If you can give the FBI evidence against Vincent, they might be willing to reduce or drop charges against Dante in exchange. How would I get evidence against Vincent? By being the brave, stupid woman my son married. By doing exactly what you did when you started investigating Dante. Dig into finances, follow money trails, build a case. Except this time you're doing it to save your husband instead of prosecute him. That's incredibly dangerous. Vincent would kill me if he found out, yes. But he'd kill you anyway if Dante goes to prison. You think Vincent is going to let the wife of his biggest rival survive once Don is locked up? Isabella's expression was fierce. This is your only play, Sophie. Save your husband by giving them an even bigger fish. I spent the next month secretly investigating Vincent Castellano. Using my old FBI contacts, my financial analysis skills, everything I'd learned working both sides of the law. And I found enough. Money laundering schemes that made Dante's operations look minor, connections to 3 unsolved murders, evidence of corruption involving 2 federal judges. I brought it to the prosecutors myself. This is what you really want, I told them, spreading documents across the conference table. Not Dante Moretti. He's mid-level at best. Vincent Castellano is the real prize. Judge corruption, murder for hire, operations in 6 states. I can give you all of it. In exchange, you drop charges against my husband. The lead prosecutor studied the evidence. This is extensive. Where did you get it? I'm good at my job. I was good at it when I worked for the FBI, and I'm good at it now working against your target. I met his eyes. But I'll only testify against Castellano if you give Dante full immunity. He walks free, charges dropped, case closed. High's still guilty of everything we've charged him with. But you can't prove it without my testimony, and you won't get my testimony unless he walks. I leaned forward. Danny Moretti or Vincent Castellano? Choose, because you can't have both. They chose Vincent. Of course they did. He was bigger, more dangerous, more connected. And I'd given them enough evidence to ensure conviction without needing cooperation from anyone in Vincent's organization. The day Vincent was arrested, I was sitting in our living room with Dante when the news broke. His face when he realized what I'd done, shock, pride, fear, love all mixed together. You took down Vincent Castellano. For me, I took down a criminal who deserved prosecution. The fact that it saved you is just a convenient coincidence. I smiled slightly. Turns out I'm still good at building cases. Just chose a different target this time. You could have died. If Vincent had found out what you were doing. Then I would have died saving you instead of watching you go to prison. That seemed like an acceptable trade. I moved to him. You told me once that I was worth choosing over your survival. Turns out you're worth the same to me. He kissed me desperately. I don't deserve you. No, but you're stuck with me anyway. Vincent's trial lasted 4 months. I testified, gave them everything I'd found, watched as he was convicted on 14 counts including 2 murders. Life in prison, no possibility of parole. As for Dante, the charges were quietly dropped. The prosecutors got their big fish and decided the smaller one wasn't worth pursuing. We were free, genuinely free, for the first time since we'd met. What do we do now? I asked one evening. We were on our balcony, watching the sunset over Manhattan. Vincent's in prison. Dante's charges are dropped. We actually have a future together now. I don't know. I've spent my entire adult life operating under threat of prosecution. Having that gone feels strange. Whatever we do it together. No more secrets, no more strategic arrangements. Just us. Just us sounds perfect. Over the next year, Dante gradually transitioned out of his criminal operations. With Vincent gone and several other families destabilized by the prosecution, there was opportunity to go legitimate. Real estate, restaurants, import businesses that were actually legal. He built an empire that looked nothing like what his father had created. I'm boring now, he commented one evening. We were reviewing spreadsheets for his restaurant chain. Profitable, legal, completely mundane. A legitimate businessman with a wife and no federal investigations. This is what normal people do. Do you hate it? Being normal? I don't know. Ask me in a few years when the novelty wears off. He closed the laptop. But Sophie, I'm alive. Free. Married to you. 3 years ago that seemed impossible. So no, I don't hate being boring. I'm grateful for it. Even though I'm the reason you ended up here. If I hadn't investigated you, if Vincent hadn't used that as leverage, then I'd still be exactly what I was. A criminal living on borrowed time, waiting for the inevitable prosecution or assassination. You gave me a reason to change. An incentive to be better. I'm grateful for that too. 5 years after we met, we hosted a small dinner party. Just a few close friends, Dante's mother, my family. Normal people doing normal things. Laughing over wine, sharing stories, living lives untouched by violence or federal prosecution. You look happy, Isabella observed quietly. Both of you, actually happy, not performing it. We are, surprisingly. After everything we went through to get here, happiness feels earned. I watched Dante laugh at something my brother said. I never expected to fall in love with him. Never expected this life. But I can't imagine anything else now. Good. Because you saved him, Sophie. Not just from prison. From himself. From becoming the monster his father wanted him to be. She squeezed my hand. Thank you. For loving my son enough to give him a different future. That night, lying in bed, Dante pulled me close. Do you ever regret it? Choosing me over your career, over your principles, over everything you believed in. Every day. And never. I kissed him softly. You're the worst decision I ever made and the best thing that ever happened to me. I contain multitudes, lucky me. Getting the woman of contradictions, lucky us. Getting a second chance we probably didn't deserve. We fell asleep like that, tangled together, complicated and happy. Living proof that sometimes the worst beginnings led to the best endings. 10 years after that awkward encounter in the jewelry store, I stood in the same shop with a very different purpose. Our daughter, Emma, was graduating college in a few weeks, and I wanted to find her the perfect gift. Mrs. Moretti, lovely to see you again. The jeweler, the same man from a decade ago, greeted me warmly. How can I help you today? Something for my daughter. She's graduating with honors. I want to give her something special. Of course. And how is Mr. Moretti? Still in the restaurant business, thriving. We just opened our 5th location. I smiled, thinking of how far Dante had come from the man who'd ordered an engagement ring for a woman he'd never met. Life is good. The jeweler showed me several options, and I settled on a delicate pendant, sapphire, Emma's birthstone, elegant and meaningful without being ostentatious. You know, the jeweler said as he wrapped the purchase, I've been in this business 40 years. I've seen a lot of engagements, a lot of marriages. Most don't last. But you and Mr. Moretti, you've beaten the odds. Still clearly in love after all this time. We worked hard for it. Wasn't easy. But nothing worth having ever is. When I got home, Dante was in his study, reviewing plans for the new restaurant. He looked up when I entered, and his smile was genuine. The kind that still made my heart skip after 10 years. Find something for Emma. Perfect necklace. She'll love it. I moved behind him, wrapping my arms around his shoulders. Remember when your mother offered me an out? Told me I could walk away, that she'd protect my family. I remember thinking I was going to lose you. That I'd finally found something worth keeping and it was about to slip away. I'm glad I stayed. Glad I chose you over safety. I kissed his temple. Even on the hard days, I've never regretted it. We've had a lot of hard days. And a lot of good ones. The good outweighs the hard. I moved to sit across from him. Dante, do you ever miss it? The danger, the power, the life you had before. Sometimes. Late at night when I can't sleep, I think about how it felt to control things, to have that kind of influence. He closed the folder. But then I come to bed and you're there, and I remember what I gained by walking away. You, Emma, a life that isn't constantly looking over my shoulder. That's worth more than any amount of power. Vincent's up for parole next year. I know. I've been tracking it. His expression hardened slightly. He won't get it, not after what he did. But if he does, we'll handle it together, like we handle everything. You're not worried he'll come after us? I'm always worried. That doesn't go away just because I went legitimate. But I'm prepared. Security's tight, we're careful, and if necessary, I still have connections that can keep us safe. He took my hand. I didn't become a saint, Sophie. I just redirected my skills toward legal enterprises. The core of who I am hasn't changed that much. I know. I married a criminal who became a businessman. Emphasis on became. You're still the same person underneath. Does that bother you? Not anymore. I've made peace with loving a complicated man. Besides, I'm pretty complicated myself. Former FBI agent who fell in love with her target. Destroyed her career for him. Took down his rival to save him. I'm not exactly simple either. Emma came home that evening. 22, brilliant, completely unaware of the complicated history that had brought her parents together. We'd told her a sanitized version met through business, fell in love quickly, got married despite family concerns. The truth, threats, coercion, federal investigations, mob wars, that was buried under years of legitimate business and normal family life. Mom, Dad, I need to tell you something, she said over dinner. I got a job offer. FBI Financial Crimes Division. They want me to start after graduation. The irony wasn't lost on me. Our daughter following in my footsteps, joining the organization I'd betrayed for love. That's wonderful, sweetheart, I said carefully. It's a good career, important work. Dad, Emma looked at Dante, clearly worried about his reaction. I know you don't love law enforcement, but this is what I want to do. Dante was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled, genuine proud. Then you should do it. You'll be excellent at it. Just promise me you'll be careful. That world is more dangerous than it looks. I promise. And Dad, I know there are rumors. About your past, about how you made your money before the restaurants. I don't care. You've been a good father. That's what matters to me. After Emma went to her room, Dante looked shaken. Our daughter is going to be an FBI agent. Investigating financial crimes. The exact thing you were doing when we met. Life has a sense of humor. What if she investigates me? What if she finds out what I really was? Then we'll deal with it. Honestly, openly. She's not a child anymore. If she learns the truth, she's old enough to understand complexity. I took his hand. Besides, you've been clean for 8 years. There's nothing recent to find. And the old stuff, most of the people who could testify are dead or in prison. I never wanted her to know. Never wanted her to see me as anything other than her boring businessman father. She loves you. That won't change. Trust me. I learned exactly what you were and loved you anyway. She'll do the same. 2 weeks after Emma's graduation, Vincent Castellano was denied parole. The official reason was lack of remorse and continued danger to society. The unofficial reason, which I learned through old contacts, was that someone had submitted evidence of his continued criminal operations from inside prison. Did you have something to do with that? I asked Dante that evening. Let's just say I still have friends in useful places. Vincent going free would have been problematic for a lot of people. Not just us. He poured wine. I told you I was prepared. This is what preparation looks like. You're still operating in shadows when necessary. Always. I'll go legitimate in every way possible. But protecting my family, that's non-negotiable. I'll do whatever it takes, legal or not, to keep you and Emma safe. I know, and I love you for it. Even when it means you're still connected to darkness. Emma started her job at the FBI, excelling immediately. She called weekly, telling us about cases she was working, money laundering schemes, shell companies, financial fraud. Each conversation was a reminder of what I used to do, the career I'd abandoned for love. Do you regret it? Dante asked after one particularly enthusiastic call from Emma. Giving up the FBI, watching her do what you used to love, sometimes. But then I remember what I got instead. You, a marriage that worked despite impossible odds, a daughter who's thriving. I'd make the same choice again. Even knowing everything you know now. About Valentina, about Vincent, about how close we came to losing everything, especially knowing all that, because we survived it. We're still here, still together, still in love. That's worth everything I gave up. 5 years later, Emma was promoted to senior analyst. She called to tell us, voice bright with excitement, and mentioned she'd been assigned to review old cases, looking for patterns that might indicate ongoing criminal enterprises. She's going to find something, Dante said after we hung up. Some connection to my old operations. Some thread that leads back to me. Maybe. Or maybe the trail is cold enough that there's nothing to find. And if there is, if she comes to us with questions, we tell her the truth. That you were involved in illegal operations, that you've been clean for years, that people can change. She's smart enough to understand that people are more than their worst actions. She works for the FBI. She's supposed to prosecute people like I was. She's also our daughter who loves you. Those two things will be in conflict. But Sophie, we've been dealing with impossible conflicts since we met. We'll help her navigate this one too. The confrontation came 6 months later. Emma showed up at our house unannounced, with a folder of documents. She sat at our dining table, laid out financial records from 15 years ago, and looked at Dante with a mix of hurt and understanding. I found the connections, the shell companies, the money laundering operations. Your name isn't on anything directly, but the patterns lead back to businesses you owned. Her voice shook slightly. Dad, I need you to tell me the truth. Were you involved in organized crime? Dante and I exchanged glances, the moment we'd been dreading. Yes, he said simply. I ran criminal operations for about 15 years. Money laundering, illegal gambling, various enterprises outside the law. I was good at it. Made a lot of money. Hurt a lot of people in the process. And Mom knew. I investigated him initially. That's how we met. He was my target. Then things got complicated. I reached for Dana's hand. I fell in love with him despite knowing what he was. Eventually had to choose between my career and my heart. I chose him. Emma processed this, clearly struggling. So everything you told me, meeting through business, falling in love quickly, that was all sanitized truth. Why met because I was investigating him. Fell in love during an impossible situation. Got married knowing exactly what we were getting into. I met her eyes. We lied by omission. But Emma, the love was real. The family we built was real. That part was never fake. When did you stop? The criminal operations. About 13 years ago. Before you were born. I went legitimate. Slowly at first, then completely. Everything I've done since then has been legal. Dante's voice was steady. I'm not proud of my past. But I'm not the same person I was then. Your mother helped me change. You helped me change. I wanted to be someone my daughter could be proud of. Are you still connected? To criminals, to the organization? No active involvement. But I know people, and they know me. That doesn't go away. If you're asking if I'm still committing crimes, no. If you're asking if I've completely severed all ties, also no. It's complicated. Emma stood pacing. I should report this. The old operations, the evidence I found. It's my job. Yes, it is, I agreed. And we'll understand if that's what you choose to do. But Emma, the statute of limitations has passed on most of it. The people involved are dead or in prison. Prosecuting your father now accomplishes nothing except destroying our family, so I just ignore it. Pretend I never found out. You make a choice. The same choice I made 15 years ago. Duty or love. Justice or family. There's no right answer. Just the answer you can live with. I moved to her. Whatever you decide, we'll deal with it. Together. Emma left without saying what she decided. For 3 days we heard nothing. Then she called, asked to meet for dinner. I'm not reporting it, she said over appetizers. The evidence is old. Most of the operations are defunct, and prosecuting you would be vindictive rather than justice-seeking. So I'm closing my review without recommendation for further investigation. Dante's relief was palpable. Thank you? Don't thank me. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it because I've looked at the evidence objectively and determined pursuit isn't warranted. Her eyes hardened slightly. But Dad, if I find any evidence of current illegal activity, any at all, I won't hesitate. Family or not, I'll do my job. I wouldn't expect anything less, and you won't find anything. I'm clean. Have been for years. Good, because I love you. But I love justice too. And I won't compromise one for the other the way Mom did. The words stung, but they were fair. I had compromised justice for love, made that choice consciously, deliberately, and I'd make it again. As Emma left, Dante pulled me close. She's stronger than we were, more principled. She's her father's daughter, and her mother's, strong enough to make hard choices but smart enough to pick her battles. I kissed him softly. We raised her right, even if she judges our choices. Do you think she'll ever understand why we made the choices we did? Maybe. If she ever falls in love with someone impossible, if she ever has to choose between what's right and who's right for her, then she'll understand. I looked up at him. But I hope she never has to. I hope she gets to love someone simple. Someone who doesn't require moral compromise. She deserves that. We deserve that too. We just didn't get it. No, we got something better. We got complicated, messy, imperfect love that survived impossible odds. That's worth more than simple. 10 years later, 20 since we'd met, we celebrated our anniversary at the same restaurant where Dante had first explained his criminal operations. It had new ownership now, was completely legitimate, but held memories of who we'd been. 20 years, Dante marveled. 2 decades since I ordered an engagement ring for a woman I'd never met. Since I threatened you into compliance. Since I thought I could control you. You never controlled me. You just thought you did. I know that now. Took me about 5 years to figure out you were always 10 steps ahead, always playing your own game, and you love me for it. I love you despite it, because of it, in spite of it, all of the above. He raised his glass. To complicated women who make stupid men fall in love with them. To dangerous men who somehow become good husbands. We clinked glasses, drank, and I reflected on the impossible journey, from federal agent to mob wife to legitimate businessman spouse. From investigation to love to family. From betrayal to redemption to whatever we'd become. Emma had her own life now, married to another FBI agent, working her way up the ranks, building a career we both admired. She'd forgiven us, mostly though she maintained boundaries. Loved us, but kept distance from our complicated past. Do you think she'll tell her kids, I ask, about what you were? Probably. Sanitized version like we told her initially. Then the truth when they're older. He smiled slightly. Our grandchildren will grow up knowing their grandfather was a criminal who reformed. That's legacy, not great but honest. You're more than your past. So are you. You're more than the agent who betrayed her oath, more than the woman who chose love over duty. You're my wife, Emma's mother, someone who makes me want to be better every day. Even after 20 years. Especially after 20 years. Because you've seen my worst and stayed anyway. That's not obligation or strategy anymore. That's choice. Every day you choose me. That's the most amazing thing anyone's ever done for me. I leaned over and kissed him, deep, genuine, full of 20 years of complicated love. When we broke apart, he was smiling, that smile reserved only for me. You know what's funny? I said. If you'd told me 20 years ago that I'd be happily married to the man I was investigating, I'd have called you insane. But here we are. Happy, against all odds. Best mistake I ever made. Ordering that engagement ring. Best mistake I ever made, letting you slip it on my finger. We finished dinner, went home to our penthouse, the same one I'd moved into under duress 2 decades ago. But it felt different now. Not a prison, not a strategic arrangement, just home, our home. As we got ready for bed, Dante pulled me close. Thank you. For what? For seeing potential in me I didn't see in myself. For loving me when I didn't deserve it. For staying when anyone sensible would have run. For 20 years of choosing me despite every reason not to. Thank you for becoming someone worth choosing. For changing, growing, being better than your past. For loving me enough to let me change you. We changed each other. Yes, for better and worse. But mostly better. We fell asleep tangled together, 2 people who'd started as enemies and become partners, adversaries who'd become lovers, lies that had somehow transformed into truth. 20 years. 2 decades. A lifetime of complications that had somehow resolved into something simple: love, not perfect love, not easy love, but real love, honest love. The kind that survived threats and investigations and mob wars and federal prosecutions and impossible choices. The kind of love that made you believe in second chances, in redemption, in the possibility that even the worst beginnings could lead to the best endings. We'd started with a fake engagement ring and a coerced arrangement. We'd ended with genuine commitment and real family. That wasn't strategy. That wasn't manipulation. That was just us, complicated, messy, imperfect us. And it was enough, more than enough. It was everything.